Okay, so now we are on day 2 of section 3.4, log and exponential and log equations, how to solve them. And I would like to go over guided practice for for A, which has an equation 8 to the y power is equal to 0.165. So there are a couple different ways you can do this. One way is to log both sides or natural log both sides. Another way would be to log base 8 both sides. So let's try to it that way. If I have 8 to the y power is equal to 0.165. If I decide, actually let's log both sides. If I decide to log both sides, log, and then I have to do the same for here. I'm left with log 8 to the y power, so I can pull up the y to the front. So I have y log 8 is equal to log, is equal to log 0.165. So now what I can do is divide both sides by log 8. So if I do that, I'm left with divide by log 8, divide by log 8. So at this point, this would cancel out, and y would just be log 0.165 or 0.165 divided by log 8. And this step would be just a calculator step. So you have to punch it in the calculator, and what I would do is I would input log, this is what I would put on the calculator, 0.165, and the calculator is going to open parentheses, so close parentheses, divided by, and then you have to do log, and the calculator is going to open parentheses log 8, and if you put that in, you get negative 0.87, which is about negative 0.87, and that should be the answer right there. Okay, so moving on to the next example, which is 4b. So 4b says 1.43 to the a power plus 3.1 is equal to 8.48. So my first step here would be to subtract 3.1 from both sides. And I get then 1.43 to the a power is equal to, and if you subtract 8.48 minus 3.1, you should be left with 5.38. And at this point, you can either natural log or log both sides. I guess I'll log both sides. So I can say log and log. And at this point, I can pull the exponent up front. So I'm left with a log 1.43 is equal to log 5.38. And what you need to do is just divide both sides by log 1.43. And when you do that, you should get the answer. Those cancel out. So then a should be equal to, and when you put that on the calculator, you should get 4.70. Okay, and then the last guided practice example we have is for C. And what I would do in this one, I would simply natural log both sides because that's the inverse of E. So if I natural log this side and natural log this side, and now I can pull that exponent up front. So I'm left with 2 plus 5W natural log E is equal to natural log 12. Now, if you remember, natural log E cancel out. So I'm left with 2 plus 5W is equal to natural log 12. So now I would do natural log 12 minus 2 and divide that by 5. So now what we have is minus 2 minus 2. So we have 5W is equal to natural log 12 minus 2. And then you're going to have to divide both sides by 5. Now remember, when you input this on the calculator, you need to make sure that you close parentheses after 12, natural log 12. So what it's going to look like is going to be W equals, you have to input on the calculator, natural log 12. It's going to be like that, minus 2. Then you can either push enter or you're going to need another set of parentheses. And then you do that divided by 5. And your final answer, if you input it correctly, should be 0.10, about 0.10. So W is about 0.10. Okay. So now we are going to example 5. There are 2 of these. In this case, these are a little more complex. Examples 5 and 6 are a bit more complex. So what you see here is an equation that looks like this. And the problem here is that you have 2 different bases and both expressions are exponents. So you can either log or natural log both sides once again. So let's say, for instance, let's go ahead and log both sides. So I can pull the exponent up front, and I'm left with 2x plus 4 times log 6 is equal to negative x plus 1 times log 5. So what I'm going to do now is distribute. So I get 2x log 6 plus 4 log 6 is equal to, distribute over here as well, negative x log 5 plus 1 log 5, or just log 5. Now remember, my goal here is to solve for x, so I'm going to move the x's to one side and anything without x's to the other side. So I'm going to add x log 5 to both sides. And I am going to subtract 4 log 6 from both sides. So what my equation looks like now is okay. So now I am going to have 2x log 6 plus x log 5 is equal to This cancels out. So log 5 minus 4 log 6. Okay, now I can factor out the x on this side. I'm left with x parentheses 2 log 6 plus log 5. And once again, I just factored out the x is equal to log 5 minus 4 log 6. And at this point, I can just divide both sides by 2 log 6 plus log 5. So 2 log 6 plus log 5. And these are going to cancel out. I have to do the same to the other side. So 2 log 6 plus log 5. And at this point, it becomes a calculator problem. So what I'm going to do now is you have two options again. You can just input on the calculator log 5 minus 4 log 6. And remember, this will be between parentheses. And then you can push enter. And then you can divide that by the quantity. So now you have to enter between parentheses 2 log 6 plus log 5, and you need two sets of parentheses here, and your answer will be about, if you input that on the calculator, that gives about negative 1.07. Negative 1.07. Okay, so this requires a few more steps, but again, it's something that you have seen before. So now we move on to example 5b. And example 5b is over here. Once again, you have different bases. You are not able to equate the bases. So you're going to have to either natural log or log both sides. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and natural log both sides. So I'm going to write ln here and ln here. And that exponent, I'm going to pull up front. And the same thing for this one. Okay. So now my equation is going to look like 3x plus 2 times natural log 4 is equal to 2x minus 1 times natural log 6. So now I have to distribute. So it's going to look like 3x natural log 4 plus 2 natural log 4 is equal to 2x natural log 6 minus natural log 6. At this point, I want to get the x's together. So I am going to subtract 2x natural log 6 from both sides. So minus 2x natural log 6. And I am also going to subtract 2 natural log from both sides. So minus 2 natural log 4 minus 2 natural log 4. So I have now 3x natural log 4 minus 2x natural log 6 is equal to negative natural log 6 minus 2 natural log 4. I can factor out the x, so I'm left with x times 3 natural log 4 minus 2 natural log 6 is equal to negative natural log 6 minus 2 natural log 4. I can now divide both sides by 3 natural log 4 minus 2 natural log 6. And then it becomes a calculator problem. So if I divide both sides by 3 natural log 4 minus 2 natural log 6, 3 natural log 4 minus 2 natural log 6, this cancel out. And now I have that x is equal. Now, like I mentioned before, you can input on the calculator negative natural log 6 minus 2 natural log 4. And then you can just press enter. And to that divided by, and now the bottom, you're going to have to do 2 sets of parentheses. Yeah, negative natural log 6 minus 2 natural log 4 divided by 3 natural log 4 minus 2 natural log 6. So now you would need to use 2 sets of parentheses. So parentheses 3 natural log 4, close parentheses, minus 2 natural log 6. And you're going to have to close parentheses twice. And then you get the answer, which is about negative 7.93. So this is about negative 7.93. Okay. And then the last 2 examples. The book teaches you to solve this using what we call U substitution. So in order for you to solve exponential equations in quadratic form, I want to show you the way the book teaches. And essentially, if you have, you can see this is a quadratic equation. It's in quadratic form because you have e to the 2x power plus 2e to the x power is equal to 8. Okay, so what the book substitute suggests is that you use the letter u, it's called the u substitution, to refer to e to the x power. So if u is equal to if u is equal to e to the x power, you can rewrite this equation by writing u to the second power plus 2, and since e to the x is u, so 2u is equal to 8. Then you need to write it in standard form, and you're going to need to factor. So u squared plus 2u minus 8 is equal to 0. At this point, because the coefficient of u squared is 1, you can just straight factor. So you need 2 numbers that multiply to negative 8 and that to positive 2. So those 2 numbers would be positive 4 and negative 2. So you can rewrite this as u plus 4 times u minus 2 equals 0. And then you just solve. U is negative 4 and u is positive 2. Now you need to check whether there are any extraneous solutions. So in this case, since you know that u is e to the x, if you substitute e to the x equals negative 4, it's very easy to see at that point that if you natural log both sides, this will cancel out. X would have to be natural log of negative 4, which does not exist. So this is extraneous. But you also need to check for when u equals 2. So if u equals 2, if u is equal to e to the x, you should be able to say that e to the x is equal to 2. So natural log both sides. So e would be equal to natural log 2, which does work. There is a solution. So that means that x would be about natural log 2 is 0.69, so 0.69. Okay, so one solution is extraneous, the other one works. All right, and then 6b. So for 6b, once again, I would use e substitution, but in this case, I have e to the 2x here, so u can be e to the 2x. And if that is true, I can rewrite this equation as 4u squared plus 8u is equal to 5. So now I can write it in standard form. 4u squared plus 8u minus 5 equals 0. Now, because the coefficient of u squared is 4, I am going to need to use AC method. So how do I use AC method? I multiply A and C. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. And I need two numbers that will multiply to negative 20 and add to positive 2. So what those two numbers are 10 and negative 2. So now I can write here 10, negative 2. And now that I have them, I can use my shortcut and divide both by the coefficient of u squared, which in this case is 4. So divide by 4, divide by 4. Then I have to simplify. I get 5 halves, and here I get negative 1 half. And now I just read from bottom to top, and I write the two binomials. So it's 2u plus 5 times 2u minus 1 is equal to 0. Then I can solve each set of parentheses. I get 2u plus 5 equals 0, and I get 2u minus 1 equals 0. So u is going to be negative 5 halves, and u is going to be 1 half. So now I need to go back and substitute e to the 2x for u. That's what I established at first. So if I write down, if I say that, oops. Okay, so now I know that e to the 2x is equal to u. So I should be able to say that e to the 2x is equal to negative 5 halves. Well, I can already see here, if I natural log both sides, that's a negative. It's not going to be a value that will work. So this is extraneous. That's a no-no because it's negative. Now, if u is 1 half, I should be able to say that e to the 2x is equal to 1 half. In this case, it will work. So I will natural log both sides. This cancel out. I get that 2x is equal to natural log 1 half. And at this point, I can just do natural log 1 half divided by 2. And if you do natural log 1 half divided by 2, x equals natural log 1 half. And then you take that and divide by 2. And your answer is going to be approximately 0.346, I believe. So this one does work. Okay, so that's it for this section. Reach out to me if you have any questions. And I'll be posting a classwork assignment. Thank you.